out, but he says, I've studied all of Trap's games. I'm super prepared for that series. I've also studied a bunch of Deer's games. You know, I'm well prepared. He didn't give anything more away than that, but I'm definitely looking at Lambo here and seeing, are we going to see specific kind of timing attacks, or is it going to be the defensive adjustments? Is he just going to look to kind of get a good read on Trap's moves and work his way ahead from there? I'm not sure, but only time will tell.
Being fair to Lambo is just complimenting him, honestly. Like, he really has rounded out his play a lot in a lot of ways. I know for a while, like, a lot of European Zergs had that kind of Snoot-esque feel to them, that they just defend and do the same builds again and again. Last year, or the year before even, when Lambo really started breaking out, he started whipping out these two base all-ins in ZVZ and stuff with like the creep highways and stuff. So really started mixing up his play a lot, and he's a lot harder to read, and overall he's just got more well-rounded. Going up against a guy like Trap, though, this is a guy that you can study, but it's also a guy that he's going to do stuff that you've probably played against, because everybody likes to copy Trap, right? You copy the best player in the world, but he's just going to do it a little bit better than anyone you've ever played against before.
Yeah, he is so tight. I mean, Trap, the guy who popularized the Oracle Phoenix harass years after really he'd been doing it for such a long time, renowned for his control of the Oracles, the Phoenix, his ability to harass with those paired up with Adepts, second to none. And it does really skill check the Zerg player. Their opening has to be incredibly tight.
And a Stargate opening for Trap on Nightshade here. Also going for a pylon block here at the third base. He knows the exact timing. The Zerg does take it. Lambo is here with a few lings, does shut down that pylon pretty darn quickly, and starts his third base. Ooh, getting Overlord speed just to be safe here. He wants to know what he's up against Trap.
Yeah, and that of course does mean cancelling the ling speed there. It means you're not going to have that maneuverability and ability to shut down Adepts on the map. So if Adepts get over there, I mean, I would say technically you might even actually just want to rush an Oracle across the map with two Adepts as the best thing against this, and it's going to be Oracle first here. I mean, Trap is one of these guys, he does often like to get two Adepts over, and even if you got ling speed, they're not able to get surrounded, because every time the lings surround them, the Oracle rocks up, turns on its laser beam, and those lings have to retreat. In this scenario, it's going to be very quick Oracle, very quick Adepts poking about a little bit. The Overlord, though, we'll see it. Lambo should be prepared.
It almost feels like he didn't need the Overlord speed for that Overlord to get in, right? Like, it finished as he hit there, but I guess he does get to keep it alive for sure. But upon seeing that Oracle darting across the map, he now knows what he's up against. Spore Crawlers start immediately. Are these a little bit too late? I think they might be nicely timed, actually. The Queens are in good positions too, and he's just not taken any damage so far.
Yeah, you know, I think this is perfect.
That he wants to make the game a short game, doesn't want to invest on the upgrades or anything like that. Or maybe he just wanted to show Trap that he was trying to invest in a later game. And right now he's piling out a lot of Roaches.
I mean, he's got a ling drop getting ready as well, I believe. We're going to see exactly what he has planned. It's a lot of Queens. They are going to start marching across, but I think Trap has a head start on this. With that revelation, he sees Queens start to walk across the map. It's just a mass Roach Ravager Ling Queen attack.
And look at all the Overlords. They're getting into position. This is the creep highway that we were talking about, like, before this game even started, in a totally different matchup, but this is going to be a pretty strong push.
It's so fast. Look how early it is. I mean, that Spore Crawler at the third going to hang on there. Good pullback on the drones. The Oracles, they haven't had a chance to put down any stasis traps, and this is all going to be about buying time for Trap. Where's the shield batteries? He's got a few sentries, shield batteries at the third base, but none at the natural, and it's going to be a push into the natural. I actually don't know if that's the right position to put those shield batteries.
But, I mean, Lambo, he can't really run up that ramp. He doesn't really have... If you run up it, 2 force fields and you're done. But these are nice starting force fields to this fight, even picking off the high energy Queen here, so that limits the transfusions. But the shield batteries, they're not all done just yet, and that is a ton of Zerg.
Oh, 2 Immortals in the back dishing out a lot of damage. The Oracles come forward. Some of the Queens are in range of them, though. The Ravagers and Lings desperately trying to break forward. There's so few units. If either of those Immortals go down, Trap is going to get smashed out of this game. He's got to keep those Immortals alive.
Really good bios by Lambo. He mainly focused the force fields and the shield batteries and takes down Trap in game 1 with a pretty insane push.
Studied a player, you can see the tiniest little things, like you're like, oh, he made a sentry instead of a stalker here. That means he's doing this build, and you can tell what's going to happen 3 minutes from then. Once you have that level of knowledge of your opponent's build orders, it can give you a huge advantage no matter what style you play.
And also we have to remember, like, when you're playing in a series, you can really play your opponent. Like if he shows the same stuff that he did the game before, and like Trap has to worry about playing against that build again. Like he has to play safer. He can't drone, or rather can't probe up as hard and stuff. So Lambo with an extra life on the line, if you know, he can really throw something crazy out there, but just try and mind game the crap out of Trap.
You know, in this situation, a lot of Korean players in the past have just gone pedal to the metal with the aggression. They've said, okay, all right, you're going to catch me out with something. I'm just going to be the one to put pressure on you. I am going to use my mechanics, my experience, my poise under pressure. But Trap, in a way, he's one of the guys who sometimes I expect to just play the exact kind of macro style that he was planning to from the start. I see him as a player who's very confident, making some adjustments as things go on, and already a different tech choice here on this map, Ben.
So Trap put down that Twilight Council after scouting the spawning pool, not getting speed. So I don't know if that's something that he's just like, okay, if I can hit a timing, or maybe he's just going to do the same thing as before. But right now we have Twilight Council, Robos, like, what kind of opening do you think this is going to be, Pig? Like, he's also getting
I think Glaive Adept. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is Glaive Adept. And unfortunately, only 4 mutas here, not enough to one-shot probes. The shield battery doing some fantastic work there. The 5th Mutalisk is finally here. Of course, 5 is the magic number that you want with Mutalisks. Want to be able to one-shot those workers.
Really impressive by Trap, by the way. Like, if he didn't scout the Spire, but just made those cannons in his bases, like, that is some next-level sixth sense by him. And those mutas, I mean, they don't really get a lot done, so an unfortunate tech choice. And we do see that he didn't see the Spire, so just kind of sniffing it. It's like, oh, me killing this 4th base, this is way too easy. I've got way too much map control right now. You must be doing something a little bit cheeky.
No more upgrades on the way for Lambo. That has me a little bit worried. It makes me feel like Lambo is set on the idea of doing an all-in. He just started a Mutalisk, by the way, and then immediately cancelled it. Obviously, he also is aware of the fact that, I let that 5th Mutalisk rally through the Archons and it went down. It's not quite as threatening, but I think he's realizing, you know what? I'm almost maxed. I don't have a great economy. I got a ton of Roaches and Ravages. I need to do something, and I need to do it soon. I think Baneling speed is the real power point here for Lambo. He can definitely buy time before then, but I think it's got to be a big Ravagerling Bane surround. If he can catch Trap out on the map a little bit, especially before these Colossus come out, that'll be huge for Lambo.
I love the choice of Colossus, by the way, against all this like light units and such as Lings and what have you, but 34 Banelings on the way. Baneling speed is just finishing now. Lambo's army doesn't get any better than right now. That is a lot of Banelings, and he's setting up a flank from 2 sides here, but Trap, oh, if he stays here, he could be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, DT's going to go up and spot it. That's really important. It's going to give him warning. He's got to land good force fields here. And I love the pullback to the left-hand side. Lambo not going to find the angle. Great force fields there, zoning out. The Banelings working their way through, though. The Protoss player very clumped up. Those Immortals falling. It might just be too much Zerg.
Oh my gosh, even the Colossus on the right side as well falls very, very quickly. He's microing with the Warp Prism, keeping that Archon alive with barely any shield, but is Lambo going to be able to do it? He's still holding down the Roach key, still making Lings.
Trap there, realized the situation he was in. That was a ridiculous amount of units that all got spent on that attack. And Lambo, remember, he's on an even economy, and even though the supply advantage is there, it's all Roach advantage. When you lose those Banelings, you spend a ton of money that is not reflected in the supply count. The units lost is just going to get better and better the more fights like that happen for Trap. So Trap here knows he's just got to hang on. He's just got to avoid letting the Ravagerling Bane smash through his defenses.
What do you think about the Infestation Pit? Like, is that Lambo going to be just denying a 4th base, but teching up behind this? But teching up for what?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think he might be preparing for Broodlords, but that's so far away. That really isn't something he should be thinking about for quite a while. It's all about Baneling count at this point, and he's coming in. It's the same angle again, but a lovely DT backstab that Spore Crawler, not in the correct position. And now Lambo's attack gets a little bit disjointed. Half of his army goes in ahead, does manage to dodge the Disruptor shot, but a big force of Zerg trying to force the way in.
Oh, and that Disruptor shot and all those Banelings definitely melting them down. Nice blinks away from the Banelings as well. Trap is handling this fight beautifully. The Immortal at the front, just tanking so much damage in the Disruptors.
Lord. Devastating Disruptor flank there.
Wow, very nice hole that will just sit and take that. So if he can go through and beat Trap here and get himself into the group stage as well, that'd be a very, very impressive performance.
Trap here going for a very standard expand opening. It's nothing crazy in the openings. This probe, of course, just looking to occupy these mineral patches for a moment and force Lambo's drones to go mine elsewhere. If you can disrupt that, it will cause inefficiency. Your opponent's drones would naturally go and stack up on the wrong patches that are a bit further away. Lambo, though, microing against it, and this is just that little skill check that players will do at the very high level. And you can see a player like Lambo just counters it with his own stacking of the drones, making sure they stay on the correct patches. Both players just going to continue on with their game plan. And of course, the question with Lambo's build, Overlord speed, Zergling speed, it seems like he wants to have that information. He's loved the Overlord speed up to now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it start up one more time.
Is there anything that you find as a Zerg player, or when you play Zerg on this map, that can be a little bit cheeky? Oh, Twilight Council pops down again for Trap. I wonder if that's just like, okay, the game that I played, Stargate, this guy just leapt on that, so I'm going to stick with what worked in the previous game, and we're going to go from there.
Might just be. Of course, there are some very good Glaive Adept builds that have recently come back. A lot of ones after Stargate, you know, after 1 or 2 Oracles, with really quick Adept follow-ups. Always been very nice. But, I mean, that DT build, it's solid, the one he just used. It's not bad to use that exact same opening again here. It's definitely an option.
And a fairly quick Robo follow-up as well, so it could be the DTs, could be the Adepts, we'll see. I mean, practically at this point, the Protoss can throw anything at the Zerg, and that's why the Zergs often get that Overlord speed near the start of the game, just to know what the Protoss is actually going to throw at them. Ooh, 2 more gateways before any tech goes down, really.
Yeah, okay, this is a mistake. Okay, Glaives, there we go. I was going to say that Glaives needs to start up. Okay, yeah, he's pulled 1 worker off each gas in the main base. So he's going a lot more mineral focused. We are going to see a big Glaive Adept timing, a Warp Prism coming out, very mineral focused. Overlord speed, spotting this will be huge. That Stalker does not want them to see it, but 2 Overlords coming in, 1 from the main, 1 from the natural. Stalker goes to defend the natural, and that Overlord sees it. 2 workers on each gas, 4 gateways. Lambo knows exactly what he's playing against. Immediately, he has a Roach Warren down. He's continuing to drone mission you're in.
Did Lambo just fly his Overseer over a Dark Templar, like while trying to scout across the other side of the map? Because he's so well prepared against these DTs, or in fact, he just moved his Overseer away.
Oh, good cheeky maneuvers with these DTs. Going to try and find the drone line. One gets into the third here. Another one is making its way into the main at the same time. One has already hit the natural mineral line. The Prism is there as well, being annoying, ready to extricate some of these from harm. Really good play here. Look at that. That Prism is even being micro. Trap exercising his mechanics and just exerting that power and control. 11 worker kills for a couple DTs. Not bad. A massive disruption to Lambo's economy.
That was really good by Trap, and he even got a scout on the Spire there in the main base with the DT, so not only economic damage, but he knows what he's going to be up against, and now throws down a few cannons, a few shield batteries. He's ready for a counterattack by Lambo.
I'd love to see Lambo get an infestation pit and work his way up the tech tree. I'd love to see a second Evo chamber as well. He's making a ton of roaches, though. Lambo looks like he wants to finish the game in the near future. The problem here on Eternal Empire is it is just hard to get through those choke points. It's very difficult to clear out the rocks blocking your opponent's natural. There's already shield batteries going down. I mean, we've got a Trap here who is looking to just hang on for dear life on 3 base. No sign of a 4th base for a very long time.
8 mutas on the way for Lambo. He's getting the upgrades as well. +1 for melee, +1 for air weapons. 10 mutas now, so that Warp Prism will be able to be shut down, but I wonder how he's going to utilize the mutas. Disruptors as well from Double Robo. That is a great unit against this kind of stocky army by Lambo.
Trap's playing so flexibly right now. Don't get me wrong, he's still behind. He has less raw material out, but he's playing very careful, very defensively. He's countering Lambo's options. You can tell here, all series long, Lambo has been wanting to get the jump on Trap. He keeps trying to counter Trap almost before he goes down a certain path. But now Lambo going across the map is going, where's your 4th base? You know, what can I do with this gigantic Roach army I've invested in? Trap has said, mate, I'm not giving you any openings. I know I'm behind in this game. I'm going to turtle up on 3 bases, and it's going to be about building the right army to counter yours.
And these DTs continue to sneak in, despite Lambo having like an Overseer and a few Roaches waiting in his mineral line, but he just sneaked on by and gets more damage done, and this is nice, because now Trap, he's accumulated a little force of these Disruptors, soon going to be up to 4 here. Gets upgrades continuing, and these mutas so far not doing that much.
Indeed, cannons in the main as well. A couple of workers will go down. Any trade is a good trade for Lambo at this point. Just going to take some out. Those Stalkers, of course, hot in his tail. He's got to stop turning to fight. The thing with Stalkers is they can blink very frequently, so you can't really afford to keep going back in and out, and losing 3 or 4 Mutalisks does lower the threat level. More drones on the way for Lambo. At this point, I think he's got to split off a lot of roaches and throw them away in a backstab, because he is hitting up against his supply cap hard. And that money in the bank might look nice, but I tell you what, his ground army is trash, and it's going to get destroyed if he fights Trap in a front-on fight. He really needs to find a way to trade out part of his army and replace it with better quality units.
I was just about to say, the longer this game goes on for, even though Lambo is obviously mining quite a bit more and he's got a big bank, Trap's army gets significantly better. It is just being it's just getting better, higher tech units added on. Colossus are joining as well now. We're going to have Archons, Immortals, Disruptors. It is a crazy amount of AoE damage.
I can't believe that DT Shrine still hasn't been spotted down there. That's actually just a little bit unfortunate for Lambo. DT's continuing to trickle in. But the Roach Ravager Bane finds the exposed 4th base. Ooh, the Baneling's going to go into the units there. Disruptors, of course, very threatening. Is not going to be able to snipe the Nexus.
And that is an incredibly scary army to go up against. It seemingly has the counter to everything, at least on the ground. The Immortals as well. And a nice DT warp in, just stopping those roaches from marching forward into the base.
Oh, the Mutas come over with the Overseer. They do support and end up taking out those DTs. At the same time, a DT just pulls back Lambo's attention momentarily. A few more Mutas go down. The Overseer does fall there as well. Lambo did get rid of some of his supplies, replacing it though with Zerglings right now. Greatest Spy is finishing and there's no Corruptors on the map. He is missing his timing to get out quick, surprising Broodlords. And this is a little unfortunate for Lambo. He's going to go into Vipers and Banelings right now. Great units versus the Disruptors, but this is just dragging this game longer and longer, deeper and deeper into the game, to the point where I feel Trap's army continues to improve and his chances of winning the next fight are getting better and better.
I think this was a really good, smart call by Trap, though. He knows that Lambo's trying to get rid of those units to make something better. So Trap immediately goes, aha, what are you trying to get out? I'm not going to let you. Marches immediately across the map. And this army, I don't know how you engage that with what Lambo has. He needs those Vipers out, and he needs them now with full energy.
Yeah, he's going to need to abduct every single Disruptor or to cover the Immortals and Colossus with Blinding Clouds. He also needs to come from 2 sides. If Lambo attacks this from one side, it is not going to be pretty. You can see he's splitting his army into the Roaches on the north. Do a good job. He's lost some economy, but Lambo's still got bank, and those Banelings, remember, pack such a punch. Just the sheer number of Banelings alone is so scary for Trap. Trap realizes this, he's pulling back into the corner. He's still got some force fields to work with, and that's what makes it so Lambo really, I don't think he can force this. I think he needs to wait for Trap to come into the open.
I do as well, Pig, but if Trap fights on this ramp, there is a flank by Lambo from the south side, but these force fields are pretty darn good. The splits of the Stalkers, the Banelings rolling through, trying to blow up the army of Trap. And Trap, actually, he's way behind his supply now. This is a crazy fight by Lambo. And Lambo, he's actually pushing Trap to the limit.
He's on top of the Colossus. That last Immortal is going to fall. The Prism goes down. The Colossus are alive, but the Warp-In gets stopped. Even though the DTs come in, almost all of that Protoss army gets toasted. And what is the Remax? Roaches being built for now, but remember, Lambo's economy took a beating there. He's lost a lot of his workers. Trap is up in economy. He's rebuilding Colossus right now versus just a Remax of Roach Bane. It's going to be that low-tier, mobile, just crushing ground army with the Vipers overhead. This is looking all right for Lambo.
Yeah, Lambo's actually still got money in the bank to spend as well. 10 Roaches, 10 Ravagers joining the battlefield, plus 3 upgrades soon to finish for both these guys as well. Lambo with a 50 supply lead, and he left that Nexus so weak at the top of the map. And Lambo, he's already almost Remaxed, and the Protoss, he's left down in the 120s.
Yeah, Lambo here, he's not going to the later game. He's not using the Great Aspire. He's saying, this is my moment. I know I've got the army advantage right now. Let's go for it. The Zealots just get blasted by those Banelings. And look at that Ravager count to Muslim. That is insane.
It really is. The Vipers, he's trying to hunt down that Colossus. There is a DT on the other side of the map. Trap's trying to do anything he can, but the main fight that's going on over here, the Roaches and Ravagers, there's so many of these Ravagers. Biles are going to be landing everywhere, and they are even getting the slow warping Stalker there. Nice targeting by Lambo, and he's almost doubling the supply of Trap. This is a crazy, crazy game by Lambo.
Yeah, Trap, you can see he's microing so well, pulling back on different sides, but he just doesn't have the material, and this is the issue with those Stalkers. Lambo had that big economic advantage earlier, and Stalkers just don't pack enough of a punch here. I don't think they were the right call, unfortunately. A lovely yoink. That Colossus gets dragged into the Ravagers. The drone losses on the other side of the map have been shut down, by the way. Lambo cleaned up all the DTs in the middle of this. He's now taking out the third base, isolating the fourth at the same time, continuing to commit to more and more Roaches and Ravagers. And Trap here with just a few Blink Stalkers, desperately trying to micro his way out. But it's an impossible job.
The fact that Lambo managed to beat that army, and GG, Lambo takes out Trap 2-1. But the fact that Lambo actually managed to kill that army, that super high-tech army of Trap, and I mean, like the positioning as well. These Banelings just rolling all the way through, dealing supreme damage to the big, juicy units of Trap's army. I really didn't think he was going to take that the way that he did, but looking at the supply like a minute into the fight, it was like, holy crap, Lambo's actually winning this.
A beautiful engagement there, of course, takes advantage of that momentum. And I mean, great preparation from the German Zerg. He often does like to, talk about how he does have a great understanding of strategic reactions. In the past, sometimes he's struggled to pull it all together, but here in this match, he's done it, makes his way through the winner's bracket into the round of 24. An awesome performance for him. Trap, of course, going to have another chance in the lower bracket. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back with more matches in just